Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, November 4th, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, we visit the Skating Club of Boston, where they hosted Skate America last weekend. Dr. Galligan gives us an update on the odor smell that caused the high school to close last Thursday. But first, on Tuesday at 2:08 p.m., the Norwood police responded to a breaking and entering and larceny in progress at a residence on Union Street. Chief Brooks has the latest information on this event.
Hi, Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. I want to talk about a house break that we had Tuesday this week. You know, house breaks are down. They're down not only in Norwood but throughout Massachusetts. We just don't see quite as many as we used to. So just before 3 o'clock on Tuesday, our units responded to a call of a break-in that had just occurred on Union Street. Around the intersection of Sumner. And what had happened is the alarm actually went off, triggering the camera inside the home, and the homeowner was able to see an image on his phone, called his father and asked his father to go to the house, and it was reported to us, and we got there right away. Of course, the alarm going off had scared the subject away, so there was nobody on scene when we got there. But we did have a good image of the offender inside the home. We used a canine from the Canton Police Department to do a track, and we also had units from the Sharon and Walpole Police Departments that arrived at the scene. Now, information was provided to us by Officer Bob Doherty of the Walpole Police Department. Coincidentally, Officer Doherty used to be a Norwood police officer. Now he works in Walpole. And he had information about a subject in the area that he thought might be of interest to us. So our detectives processed the scene, but then they went about looking to interview that person who actually lives in the area of the break-in. Detective Sergeant McDonough and Detective Jen Hoyle went to the person's home, confronted them, interviewed them, and eventually arrested the woman who lives there, who's a 32-year-old woman who lives in the neighborhood. So the case was investigated by, like I said, Detective Sergeant Tim McDonough, Detective Jen Hoyle, and then the patrol officers on the case were Officer Ryan Sinclair and Officer Victor Saba. They did a great job. This is kind of unusual that there's a break-in and within a couple of hours of the break, we have the person in custody. But that worked out here. Because the person was in the home just a short amount of time, only one item was stolen. We recovered that during the arrest, so a very successful investigation by those officers.
Thank you to Chief Brooks and the NPD for handling this case so quickly. Norwood was on the world stage when Skate America came to the Skating Club of Boston. Skate America is the first event of the International Skating Union Grand Prix of Figure Skating Series. Skaters earn points to qualify for the Grand Prix final that will be held in Turin, Italy. This competition, which was held right here in Norwood, was broadcast live all around the world. Here's NCM's Mark Hoover and Jack Tolman with a behind-the-scenes look at this international skating event and broadcast production.
Mark Hoover along with Jack Tolman for NCM on a beautiful fall evening here as the world comes to Norwood for the 2022 Skate America at the Skating Club of Boston. Now, over the course of this weekend, world-class athletes all come together to compete in men's, women's, pairs, and rhythm figure skating. Now, this is being broadcast around the world by USA Network, NBC, and NBC Peacock, but there is a little local flavor to it as well. Members of the Norwood Police Department, Fire Department, Norwood businesses, and even NCM all played roles to bring this first-class production to the people of the world. Before the competitors even stepped on the ice, preparations by NBC and other networks were well underway. 2 18-wheeler production trucks arrived, and along with satellite trucks and other support equipment, were set up outside in the back of the skating club. Meanwhile, inside the club itself, virtually every available space was utilized wherever possible. The West Rink was transformed into a workspace for members of the national and international media sent to cover this event. In the Tenley E. Albright Performance Center itself, additional technical equipment was installed to help with overall production. Over in the East Rink, the home of the Norwood High School boys and girls hockey teams, additional spaces were created for further preparation of the Skate America broadcast. And directly at center ice of the main rink, areas for the judges all had to be set up and prepared as the competition neared. Over the course of the 3-day event, skating fans from around the nation and around the world arrived at the skating club, and every inch of the property was used for parking. Shuttle buses helped transport those who couldn't find parking to and from all of the events. Once on site, fans lined up to see these world-class figure skaters as they competed in the 2022 Skate America in Norwood, Massachusetts. Once the fans were inside and the competitors ready, the broadcast kicked off as preview guides on televisions introduced Norwood to the world. Norwood was also predominantly displayed at center ice and along the boards of the main rink over the course of 3 sold-out days. In between events, the skating club sponsored a fan fest outside the rink to enhance the experience for fans of all ages. Several food trucks, including those with a local flavor, were there to provide food, drinks, and snacks of all types. Fans also had the opportunity to personally meet and get autographs from several skaters, including 2016 world silver medalist and 3-time U.S. national champion Ashley Wagner. Members of the Norwood Fire and Police Departments helped to coordinate all the parking and provided security and safety both outside and inside the venue over the course of the entire weekend. NCM also provided a role in the production itself, as NBC utilized NCM's infrastructure it had built during the construction of the East Rink. Connecting to NCM's equipment, NBC was able to broadcast the skaters' scores and results to the fans inside over the rink's Jumbotron. NBC allowed NCM to take a quick peek at the master control inside one of the large production trucks, where the signal from the events were being made ready to broadcast around the world. To do this, the signal is first sent from Norwood, Mass. to Stamford, Connecticut, where an example of what a small world it really is, it was then handed off to a Norwood High School alumni and former NCM employee for ultimate worldwide broadcast.
My name is Brendan Hurley. I'm a Norwood High School graduate, former NCM employee, and most recently a digital operator for NBC Sports and Peacock in Stamford, Connecticut. It's incredible to see Norwood hosting an international event, and even more incredible to take part in broadcasting this event to the world. Essentially, the footage that's filmed within the arena is sent to the broadcast trucks outside, where it is beamed up to satellites in orbit for our Broadcast Operations Center to then download here in Stamford, Connecticut. From there, our Broadcast Operations Center, or BOC, transfers the footage to us digital operators in the DNOC, or the Digital Networking Operations Center. From there, we assign the footage to encoders on both the East Coast and the West Coast, which allow us to simultaneously stream the footage on the NBC Sports app and Peacock for thousands of people to tune in and watch around the world. For me, it's been incredible to see Norwood up on the international stage, and it's been an honor to be part of a historic first for Norwood.
It was during this worldwide broadcast from Norwood that figure skating fans had the chance to witness a truly historic moment as Ilya Malinin landed the very first perfect quad axel at a Grand Prix event here at Skate America. With that, he was able to jump from 4th place to become the youngest men's champion in the event's history. Truly a magical way to cap off a phenomenal skating competition from Norwood. Overall, fans from around the world enjoyed a first-rate international skating competition right here in our very own Norwood, Massachusetts. What a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We can't begin to thank enough the people that helped put this all together, Doug and Jack Zagheib, and the entire crew over here at the Skating Club of Boston. They gave us exclusive behind-the-scenes access so that we could bring to you, the town of Norwood, what it takes to put on a world-class competition. When the Skating Club of Boston first broke ground here, this was the exact type of event that they promised to deliver for the town of Norwood, and boy, they hit it right out of the park this weekend. We hope you've enjoyed this small look behind the scenes at what it takes to bring a skating competition to the people of the world. For Norwood News, I'm Mark Hoover.
We'll be right back with an update on the gas odor at Norwood High School. Unified Basketball gets the win over Holliston, and we check in with Zaina on what is going on in Norwood Public Schools.
A new waste ban is taking effect in the state of Massachusetts on November 1st. Mattresses, box springs, and textiles can no longer be disposed of in landfills, transfer stations, or waste-to-energy facilities. If you are a Norwood resident and have mattresses or box springs, you may still take advantage of the Winter Street Recycling Facility on Saturdays between 8 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Keep in mind there's a limit of 3 items per week. Textiles are clothes, shoes, belts, etc. that should never go in a recycling cart or trash can. If you can't reuse or donate, you can bring them to one of the 10 convenient textile drop boxes throughout the town, including one at every school. Just make sure your textiles are dry and clean before putting them in one of the drop boxes. If you have questions or need more information, see the DPW page on the town website or call the DPW.
Last Thursday, the high school was evacuated and the school day was ultimately canceled due to a gas odor. NCM talked to NHS Principal Dr. Galligan about what the day was like and what challenges arose from having to evacuate and eventually cancel school that day.
Thursday was certainly an unusual day at Norwood High School. A little bit before 8 o'clock, we were notified of a potential odor of gas on the 3rd floor back hallway. When we arrived up there, we did notice an odor of gas in that hallway as well as the hallway directly below it. Once we realized that the odor was definitely a gas smell, we decided to evacuate the building at that time. It was just before school started. Students and staff were arriving, so we evacuated the building at that point in time for safety reasons so that we could get together with all the necessary agencies and investigate what was going on. Initially, the Norwood Fire Department arrived right away. Once we evacuated, the fire alarm went off. Students, staff, everyone was gathered near the front of the building per our safety protocols. The fire department got here. They look for a cause. They do gas readings, and that odor was present. And then throughout the day, through the combined efforts of our facilities department, the Norwood Fire Department, National Grid, school personnel, we were able to ensure, first of all, the safety of everybody who was here, navigate what was, I would say, a difficult time for this to be, any time is difficult for this to be happening, but we want to thank the community, especially the families and students, for their flexibility and understanding that, and we tried to be really proactive and current in our communication that day. Around 9:45, the decision was made that we would not be able to proceed with school that day. School was canceled. Transportation arrived. We made contingency plans for transportation to arrive to get anybody home who needed transportation. And again, everybody was very flexible in working through that process. The timing was a significant a challenge, but it was one that through the combined efforts of all the agencies involved, the quick communication, relatively quick when something like this happens, to really be able to evacuate, evaluate, and communicate, and then make a decision and keep everybody safe during the process. Ultimately, crews worked throughout the day to be able to rectify the situation, and that included even the next morning having Norwood Facilities Department and Norwood Fire Department on site at 5:30 a.m. to make sure that nothing had changed overnight and that the building was safe for everybody to enter, and it was, and we had a great day of school on Friday, and we were thankful for the collaboration and hard work of everybody involved.
On November 16th, grab your friends and make plans to crawl around the center with Friends of Norwood Center and Castle Island Brewing. The committee is celebrating big this year, and in honor of Norwood's 150th birthday, there will be 150 tickets available. John Carboni has more information on some more fall fun.
So the Fall Crawl event is our fundraising effort for 2022. We're a volunteer board, and we use this event as a way to get fundraising to stay afloat. We do employ a part-time downtown manager, Mary Ellen. She does great work, so the funds really go towards that and any expenses we have during the year. Anything spent at the bars, it belongs to them. We also want to have our fundraiser also be a way to infuse business in the center, which is our mission, and also a way to give back to the center as well. So we thought it was great that our fundraising effort could also generate money in business for some of the businesses in the center at the same time.
Owner of Charles River Running, Charlotte Walsh, talks about how this is one of her favorite events of the year in downtown Norwood.
Well, I love the event because it's a community event and it gathers people from all different types of organizations, residents, business owners, teams. The Thursday Strong Run Club comes out pretty strong and supports it. So it's a nice way to mingle with a lot of different people in 4 different locations all in one night. Absolutely. So you can go to the Friends of Norwood Center Instagram site or Facebook page and check our events, and there's a link to an Eventbrite site where you can easily click and buy your tickets.
Now we'll toss it over to Zaina Najjar with school news.
Hi guys, I'm Zaina Najjar, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Norwood High School recently celebrated Spirit Week, and both the students and staff got into it and showed off their spirit. Every day had a different theme, and by the look of these pictures, I think the NHS staff had as much spirit as the students. Special thanks to the Spirit Club advisors Kate Curtin and Ty Gonzalez for making this such a fun week at Norwood High School. Third graders at the Bald School have been studying environments and natural resources in both reading and social studies. This gave them the opportunity to explore some of Massachusetts' very own natural resources and had fun learning about cranberries and made their own homemade applesauce. During the month of October, Balch Library students have been exploring STEM-related topics. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. First and second graders have been learning what an algorithm is with the use of Bee-Bot robots. They have had the chance to program the robots with partners and use online resources to apply these skills. Grades 3, 4, and 5 library classes, students were exposed to STEM with focus on engineering. Students worked in teams to build a variety of structures with diverse building materials including Magna tiles, Lincoln logs, marble runs, Legos, and jigsaw puzzles. Students will continue exploring STEM concepts in December, focusing on technology with coding when they celebrate Hour of Code. Also at the Balch, the adult English class is in its second year. Adults join teachers Ellen Norton and Sandy Qualter for 1.5 hours of English instruction. Free childcare is provided. Norwood High School students volunteer their time to help with childcare or assist with adult learners. This has been a wonderful program for all involved. The Coakley Middle School turns pink to raise money and support breast cancer research. This is a great school spirit. Take a look. At the Callahan School, grade 5 students in Miss Milbier's class interviewed a female scientist. They asked thoughtful questions and learned so much about what the scientist does, what she uses in experiments, and observations. Callahan students had fun participating in fall activities at the Pumpkin Palooza. As a school, they raised over $6,500. Thank you, PTA, for organizing this amazing event, and to all the staff for lending a helping hand. The school had a great turnout at the Monster Mash. Students were dressed in costumes and had a great time playing games, taking pictures at the photo booth, and enjoying treats. Thanks again to the PTA for sponsoring this event. Special thank you to the custodial team for helping with the setup and breakdown. And here are some Callahan 5th graders exploring forces behind building structures. Because of Halloween, candy cords were used as building blocks of the STEAM science lesson, and we're not sure what happened to the candy corns after the lesson. At the Cleveland School, the Mystic Paper Beast Theater Group presented Sky Tales, a collection of Native American tales and myths using puppets, dance, and mime. Thanks to the PTO for organizing this event. What is the best way to build a gate that will hold up 5 pumpkins? This is the question Cleveland first graders faced as they hypothesized, designed, and built their own prototypes. And the Cleveland School PTO hosted a fun-filled fall festival with games, crafts, and music, and the principal, Carrie Hutchins, said it was wonderful to see the excited students and families. Let's take a look. The second graders at the Oldham School had a lot of fun exploring different properties of materials used for clothing such as texture, flexibility, and absorbency. Students use this information to design and build a hat that protects them from the sun. At the Prescott School, the second graders took place in a pumpkin STEM activity. Students worked in groups to design a pumpkin catapult using only popsicle sticks, rubber bands, and a spoon. Students tested their catapults to see who could launch their candy pumpkin the furthest. Looks like they have some future engineers at the Prescott. The Little Mustangs Preschool Academy was full of excited students and families during back-to-school night. For the first time since 2019, families had an opportunity to explore the LMPA community for their children in person. To make this open house even more fun, students were assigned a visual scavenger hunt to guide their tour as they led the families around the school to find important places that are part of their everyday learning at LMPA. Once they found all 8 locations on the scavenger hunt sheet, the students earned a special Changemaker bracelet from the parent-teacher organization. The Norwood Public Schools technology team and Norwood Public Library were also on site to connect with families with community resources like Parent Square Family, communication access, library cards, and children's books. What a fun evening for the Mustangs of all ages. And finally, as a reminder, there will be no school on Tuesday, November 8th due to professional development, and also Friday, November 11th due to Veterans Day. Well, that's it for school news. The students are always learning, and thanks to all the educators who share their school news with us. Now let's send it over to Ron Marshalsea with the latest in sports news.
I'm Ron Marshalsea, and this is your sports update. The Mustangs Unified basketball team faced off against Holliston earlier this week. The Unified team is made up of students with intellectual disabilities and have a little help from their partners during the game. Both teams played very well as parents and fans watched from the bleachers. Coach Kristen McDonald talks about the atmosphere in the gym that night.
We have a big Unified basketball home game today against Holliston. And Unified basketball is teams that are made of students with and without intellectual disabilities. So you have some players, some mentors, we all play together in a very inclusive, very cool, very fun environment. So it'll be a really good game today.
And what does it mean to you to be able to participate on a team like this, or coach a team like this?
Yeah, this is kind of everything, you know, like no matter how good or bad a day you have, once you get here, everything just becomes really good. Like they're so happy to play. It's so refreshing in terms of just like playing sports for all the right reasons. There's really no losers. Everybody wins here, you know, which is really nice to see.
The athletes of both Unified teams cheered each other on from the sidelines and were ready to go before the game even started.
My favorite part is like dunking. Yep. My favorite part is dunking a lot. Yeah.
What else? Is there anything you want to tell us that you want us to know?
Yeah, so in Hollywood, I used to watch Kobe Bryant a lot. He does like a lot of dunking. Then he runs in and actually holds on to the basket.
Alright.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being a part of the team?
I want to say amazing and cool.
My team is really well, and you do all the practice you can do, everything you can do. I am the best school, the best student in the school, do my homework, everything, and I'm ready for my game today, and be ready to go.
When they get in there, but decided not to be undone. He's starting to move further away. Connor works defensively there. Real close there, looking to tie this one up, and he's able to do so. Mustangs have come all the way back, and it was kind of great. I'm taking a look there.
While the Mustangs came out victorious, this game was all about camaraderie and having fun. Out on the turf, field hockey had a night game against Westwood last Friday where they lost 3-1. The team will be playing Canton in the first round of the playoffs on Thursday the 3rd at 5 p.m. As of the recording of this update, the field hockey team has not played yet, so we will let you know what happens on the next sports update. Girls volleyball ended their season with a big win over Sharon last week, 3-1. Congratulations to the team on a great season. The football team had an extremely hard-fought double overtime game against Westwood last Friday night, where they lost 34-32. Both sides of the ball for the Mustangs played extremely well, with an 80-yard return off of a goal line interception by junior Ryan Connolly, as well as senior Sean Steves and Manny Luongo rushing for 1 and 2 touchdowns, respectively. Even with Luongo scoring with 1:09 left in the fourth quarter, Westwood was still able to drive it down the field before the clock hit 0. Here is Jim Keaty and Eddie Hickey with the call on the final play in regulation.
He's made some big plays with his feet. All right, straight back, Donegan. He looks to the center. He throws.
And did he catch it?
Catch it? If he did, it was a heck of a catch.
He's giving it to him.
He gave it to him on that. I'm not saying it wasn't. We'll be able to see, but it's a touchdown on the last play of regulation here. We can see this play. He had plenty of time to survey the field, and he finally looks. Oh, it's there.
Yeah, I think he got
I think he got one foot in there.
Westwood got the ball first in overtime where they scored the touchdown, but not the 2-point conversion. And Norwood answered with a touchdown of their own, but also did not convert the 2.
No, it's got a good chance.
He's in,
right? Yep. That's Kelly.
In the second overtime, Norwood started with the ball, again scoring a touchdown, but not the 2-point conversion. Westwood got the touchdown and the conversion to win the game for the Wolverines. The team will look to avenge this hard-fought loss against Canton under the lights on Friday at home at 7. Girls soccer lost a very close one to the Westwood team they tied earlier this year, 1-0. The girls had a hard-fought season led by head coach Kim Brinklow. And finally, the cheerleading team qualified for regionals during the TVL competition over the weekend, finishing first in their division. Good luck to them as they compete at regionals next Saturday in Duxbury. And that's all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshalsea. And Norwood News will be right back after this break.
The Morrill Memorial Library has some special events coming this November. Twice nominated Best Male Artist by the New England Music Awards, Matt York plays The Highwaymen on Sunday, November 6th at 3 p.m. Registration is required for this event. On Wednesday, November 9th at 6 p.m. in the Simone Room, join Arati Paranjape for a creative arts workshop, Salad Art Decoration. Registration is required for this event, which is for ages 18 and older. Sign up now to get a sneak preview screening of F. Hollanday and the Art of Photography, a film by former Norwood Selectman Jerry Kelleher on Thursday, November 10th at 6:30 p.m. in the Simone Room. A reminder that the Morrill Memorial Library will be closed on Friday, November 11th in honor of Veterans Day. A part of the Musical Sundays concert series, Sol y Canto will be performing on Sunday, November 13th at 3 p.m. in the Simone Room. On Tuesday, November 15th at 7 p.m., the Fall 2022 Sustainability Series continues with a virtual author talk with climate fiction author and creative director of Imagine 2200, Tori Stevens. Registration is required for this event. In partnership with Haley Booksellers, the Morrill Memorial Library's Turn the Page book group will be hosting New England novelist Janice Robinson Daly. This event requires registration and will take place on Wednesday, November 16th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. To learn more about the events and programs the library offers, visit norwoodlibrary.org or call 781-769-0200.
The town will be celebrating Veterans Day in just a few weeks. The annual Veterans Day Parade garners a huge turnout every year. This year, the Veterans Recognition Mass will be held at St. Catherine's at 8 a.m. The Veterans Day Parade will step off at 10 a.m. from the Balch School in South Norwood and march through town to the gazebo, where ceremonies and observances will kick off at 10:45. Following the ceremonies at the Common, Coalition will be held at the VFW on Dean Street. If you're unable to attend the ceremonies in person, NCM will be broadcasting live from the gazebo. Last Thursday, the Morrill Memorial Library hosted a notable land records event presented by Bill O'Donnell. Bill is a Norfolk County Register of Deeds, and he was invited to the library to share people, places, and properties in Norwood that residents may not know the history of.
Tonight, it was great to be invited by the Norwood Library, Clayton Cheever, the director, Liz Reed. And the event tonight was really part of what was done in June as part of the 150th anniversary. I was asked to incorporate the land records at the Norfolk Registry of Deeds with the history of Norwood. But I was asked to speak about the records at the registry and how it incorporated into Norwood's history. So we talked about the Norwood persons, places, and properties, and but really a lot of the people that we talked about tonight, they represented something about Norwood. And we tried to just talk about Norwood and talk about what makes Norwood such a special place to live. We live in a great community, and I think it's always good to learn about the community. They'll learn different facts, you know. How did Norwood's name become Norwood? What was the history? They'll learn something about the buildings they pass by every day. And I think Norwood's future is bright and hopeful. And tonight's night was just to talk about the history of Norwood and to help continue to celebrate Norwood's 150 years here in 2022, celebrating Norwood's establishment dating back to 1872.
The 150th Committee is proud to host Women in Sports next Thursday night, November 10th, in the George Yusevich Lecture Hall. Panelists will sit down and talk about their time playing sports in Norwood and beyond. The public is invited to attend, and NCM will be there to capture the historic event. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
What a matchup today. This is going to be an awful lot of fun. This is my first unified basketball when Jack had mentioned that, you know, he wanted to get the crew out here, and then of course had mentioned you were going to be doing it. I said, well, I have to do this.
Right back at you, my friend.
And
right back at you.
Nice toss up there, but
NHS spirit. He had his mask on.
There it is. Outstanding. Owen stuck with it. He's put one in. She listens to me,
there you go.
And there she goes. So now when I see her walking the dog outside my house.
This is going to be Ayla Bashemi brings it up, along with their sister.
He's got that drilling move down, doesn't he? And, and he answers quickly.
Wow. Well, he's waiting for the rest of the team
exactly,
to
get
catch up
down
to
there.
him, right? He runs that coast-to-coast game so well.
The sophomore Jill. I think we're starting to wind down. I think they kind of shut the clock off maybe in that final 5 seconds, and they'll let it. It's kind of like, Mike, I think it was kind of like when you do soccer. You stop the clock, and they keep it the official time down on the court. So Mustangs pull this one out tonight, 51-50, but wow. I mean, that Mike, that could have gone either way.
Yeah, that was
certainly could have gone either way.
Two evenly matched teams playing an excellent brand of basketball, good team basketball too. You know, it's amazing, Mark, how much unselfish play we saw out there today, right? Some good passing, particularly down in the lane. Kudos to both teams.